Hi folks, Chris Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com, thechrisvossshow.com. Come here, blog post I want to share with you, of course, review the latest in social media and technology. Give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends, neighbors, rats, relatives, rats, dogs, cats, whatever. Relatives and rats, I put those two together, didn't I? Depends on your family. So, what we're going to do is compare two different phones today. The AT&T iPhone 5S Gold Edition against the AT&T Motorola Moto X. We're going to put these two babies head to head, see who wins and see what comes out. Check it out. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to compare the camera photos with the Moto X and the iPhone 5S, and we'll take a look at the pictures. Now, of course, we're not using this on the small screens. We're blowing them up into big pictures on our computer, and we'll take a look at them, and we can evaluate them much better this way. So, we have here the iPhone 5 picture. Now, this is taken in my laundry room in utter complete darkness in the middle of the night. There's no light to help it find stuff other than probably these little LED lights that are here, which aren't much help. What they are doing is the object is to get the camera to be able to take the flash, be able to find its point of focus, and take a great picture. So you can see here the iPhone 5 S does a very good job of it. You notice, though, there's a lot of yellows here, and we'll get to this as you see the theme through some of this. But the yellow really comes out strong in these pictures. So let's go to the Moto X pictures and take a look at those and see how those turned out. And we'll compare them. Now, here's the same style of photo, which is in complete and utter darkness. It's a little bit different position that we shot this in, but as you can see, the Moto X has an incredible flash to it, and it just really does a great job of taking pictures. Pretty much beats out when it comes to the flash the iPhone 5S. And if you notice here, the colors are very balanced, where there's a real definition or broadcast of the yellow here. So let's take a look at some of the other photos in this series that we have. Now, this is another photo where what this has done is this is taken in complete and utter darkness in my kitchen in the middle of the night. There's no light to help this out, and pretty much it's up to the camera to make the flash work. And of course, we're testing how well it will work in a more broader area. The iPhone 4S does a great, or I'm sorry, the 5S does a great job taking this photo. You can see here pretty good detail. It doesn't get totally in focus, but such is the nature of shooting in complete darkness. Here's the Moto X photo. The Moto X photo seemed to struggle a little bit at getting the focus done in a longer shot or a bigger shot done in the dark. We actually took two photos of this to see if we could get a better focal point. As you can see, we really didn't. So, well, the flash worked really well in small areas or close-up areas. In long areas, the Moto X flash wasn't quite as good. Now let's go to the iPhone 5, and we'll take a look at the iPhone 5 pics. Here we have a picture taken with the iPhone 5S, and in this picture, this is very interesting, and one thing we really notice with the iPhone 5S, you have a lot of yellows. This chimney is not yellow, this house isn't yellow, this house isn't that yellow. You can see there's no real definition of the wall here. There's very harsh blue here on the garbage can, and you can see a lot of the greens here come out really strongly. Green, yellow, blue. Looks like it might be software adjusted, maybe that, or the aperture or the camera is just bringing too much light and enhancing these, but most likely it's a software enhancement. We saw this with the HTC One cameras, where where certain colors were enhanced to give the impression of people who don't know better that, oh, look, my pictures have more light in them, so they're better. And let's face it, most people don't take good pictures. So giving them the ability to cheat and have more light might work. I don't know. That's just my theory. So let's take a look at the Moto X photos, and we'll take a look at how the Moto X photos came out, if we can find them here. Now, this is taken on a different day with the Moto X, but it's taken in the same general area, a little bit of overcast. So if you're seeing a little bit of not quite as bright and colorful on the iPhone 5S, The reason is this was overcast. It might have been a different time in the morning, but we didn't quite have as much sunlight as we did. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this photo. But what we are interested in is the colors in the photo that we're getting. You see the definition here along the wall. You see the definition on the chimney. This house looks white, which it is. This house does not look like bright yellow. You can actually see the definition in the kind of attic roof area here, if you will. The greens are balanced well, etc., etc. And to do this, what we'll do is we'll flip back to the iPhone 5S. And you can see the difference here. Even though it's a brighter picture and there was less clouds out and there was more sunlight, it's just blown out in these pictures. We actually went back and took pictures with the iPhone 5S on a different day to see if it was just because there was too much light here. There wasn't. We got the same sort of results, so we stuck with them. So there you have it. One thing we've noticed with the iPhone 5S, it's got a lot of blown out pictures to it when it comes to the yellow, greens, and blues. Now, the Moto X, of course, is a 10 megapixel camera, so it's going to get more detail and capture more detail for you and all that good stuff. Some people say that doesn't matter. It seems to matter from what we're seeing here on the stuff that we're taking a look at. So let's go to the next thing we want to look at with the iPhone 5. We'll take a look at a close-up of some cactus that we took and shot. And these are taken on 2 different days, so keep that in mind. Here we have the Moto X. We're trying to have the focal point be right here in kind of a macro shot. We're right on top of it with this macro shot, and we lose the focus here. You can see, though, the outer area picks up really good focus in this area. But is trying to get right into this shot doesn't quite work for us. So the Moto X, it's not all these cameras are designed for macro. You can see here we have the same sort of struggle with the iPhone 5S. It didn't really, it struggled to get in here and did fairly well on the outside. But it's up to you to determine which of these photos you think is best. We'll flip to the other one here. They seem fairly comparable to me. There might be a little bit more colorization in the iPhone 5S or a little more detail. It's up to you to decide. These are 2 really tough pictures to take and analyze, and really I'm more interested in the color than anything in how these operated. So let's go to another version here that we can take a look at. Now, these are taken on 2 different days on 2 different settings, but what's interesting about these photos is the difference in the quality of them. Now, here we have the iPhone 5S. Okay, now you notice if you look really closely, there's a lot of blown out yellows and greens in here. A lot of yellow, really strong, etc., etc. This isn't the real color of the ground. See how it's kind of this ugly brown, kind of a dog poop brown? Back in here, it's kind of a interesting brown color. That's not the real color of the ground, which is the biggest concern for me. Now, this is the normal shot and the real colors of the ground out here. And everything else, and you got much more detail, less blowout of the greens and yellows when you take a look at these. See how this is, it almost looks enhanced or photoshopped, if you will, and these are the natural photos coming off the iPhone 5S, so take that for what you will. I really feel the Moto X is just a better camera. I've seen a lot of cameras from what we're seeing where this is the issue here. So we're going to take a look at another picture. Let's try something else. This is another interesting thing that we took and did. This is with the Moto X, and if you notice, you can see the veins here of the leaves and everything else, and of course the yellowness over here of the deal. The ground is very natural color. So what we did is we took a photo with the iPhone 5S. If you can see here, we have the same problem again. Too much yellows and greens. What's interesting is the veins are blown out. You can't see the veins in focus here. Let's try and zoom in and see if that corrects the problem. Even if you zoom in, it doesn't correct the problem. It's just blown out. So either we have an iPhone or something that has a whole lot of yellow being added to it and manipulation of the camera and the software. It's supposed to be ultra pixels, which make the pixels bigger. And maybe because the pixels are bigger, the definition isn't quite as high. So that may very well be the case. But we're pretty much seeing this in a lot of comparisons with cameras, where the other cameras are pretty much getting the definition they need and the colors are there. So what can you say? And that's pretty much it. Now let's take a look at some of the video that's out here and how the video works. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to show you video, and the video we're going to show you is going to be, once again, we'll start off with stuff where we're in a completely dark area. This is a very small room. You can see the iPhone 5S takes fairly good video in this dark area. It's got a fairly good lamp flash. Not the greatest that I've seen in a mobile phone, but it does a fairly good job. We'll go ahead and compare this with the same room with the Moto X, see how that runs. So you can see here the Moto X has got a really, really bright lamp flash, does a really incredible job, definitely beats the iPhone 5S in brightness and everything else. Very simple and easy to figure that baby out. Now we're going to go to another test where this is going to be in my kitchen once again, only we'll be doing video. Now this is the iPhone 5S. As you can see here, really struggling in a big room to light up anything or see what's going on and everything else. So we'll flip out of that and we'll go to the Moto X, see how the Moto X does. The Moto X does a better job. You can actually see stuff in the room. How about that for a change? A little bit of miscoloring, you can, that back door looks yellow, which it's not, but it's definitely doing a much better job than the iPhone 5S in its lamp. So that's what we're really concerned about, how well the lamp can light stuff up. Now let's go with the day video. Now what I want you to keep in mind here again is what we talked about. See how the bright yellows are blown out here? We've got super greens and everything else. See how this is still yellow over here? You can't see the lattices that are up here by the roof. This looks like a completely yellow home. The white home almost looks yellow in the colors that it is, the blue. The same sort of issues we saw with the camera we're seeing with the video. So let's take a look at how the Moto X shot at. Incredible amount of different. If you can't see the difference here, you got to go get your eyes checked. I mean, that's pretty much just it. Not sure why we're getting this silly thing here, but you can see the detail over here. Sure, Windows 8. You gotta love Windows 8. You can see the detail over here on the wall. You can see that this is a normal looking wall. You can see the lattices up here on the roof. The Moto X wins this camera thing hands down. Just beats out the iPhone 5S totally, without a question or doubt. Okay, so we like both these devices. The iPhone 5S is definitely one of the fastest phones on the market. You're looking at going to AT&T.com, our good friends over there. Tell them Chris Voss sent you. Chris Voss tested, Chris Voss approved. They have the fastest download and upload speeds, so thanks to them for sharing their wonderful phones with us. They have both these phones there, and of course you can tune in to Chris Voss Show, like us on this video please, and subscribe to us so we can keep bringing these videos. Watch for all the different reviews we're going to be doing with the iPhone, new iPhones. We're going to be reviewing against about 25 other phones, so it should be pretty amazing. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check back in often.